It's August 1st, 2025. I'm Dave. I'm here with Andrew. We have bad genes, and you're listening to BB Weekly. This week, we talk Hayley Williams' surprise 17-song drop, Lollapalooza, a new album announcement from Fleshwater, and more. So you're a Liberty fan, right, Andrew?
Yes, very much so. I was Ellie for Halloween last year.
Yes. So I've been a little slow on the WNBA fandom, but I finally went to my first Liberty show on Friday, which was
show.
All right. Sorry, sports guy. I went to my first Liberty
game.
Thank you. I went to my first Liberty game on Friday at Barclays Center, and that's the women's basketball team. And it was cool because I didn't really plan this, but it was Pride Night, which also meant that the halftime show was a special performance by Ellie the Elephant, dressed as and singing Lady Gaga. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I found a stream of the halftime show, and I watched and I thought it was very awesome. Like, they had all like the dancers, and like they opened with Abracadabra, and they were doing like the whole like the new Gaga routine. Having seen Gaga at Coachella this year, I think she'd be proud.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't know what the halftime show was going to be going into it. If it was advertised, I didn't pay attention. They had special guests, announcers and things, all for Pride, which was fun, but like not anyone I had heard of. At one point, they brought out somebody who had been on, RuPaul's show, but I was like kind of looking forward to what the halftime, like I was like, ooh, is the halftime show going to be this exciting musician? It ended up being Ellie the Elephant, which, yeah, I guess that was not disappointing in any way.
No, I mean, Liberty fans love Ellie. Although I went to 2 playoff games last year, and the first one, the halftime show, was Cash Cobain, and the second one, it was Jadakiss.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
What's up with that? And those were Liberty games?
Those were Liberty games, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That's, well, I think I would have taken Jadakiss, but yeah, Ellie as Lady Gaga, also fun.
It was cool. I think, I hope I'm not getting memories crossed here, but Jadakiss played New York, like the Fat Joe and Jadakiss song. Fat Joe is in the audience, and I'm like, come on, like, now's your chance to play it together, but he just sat there and watched.
Yeah, but wait, then didn't Fat Joe release?
So Fat Joe did a Knicks thing, which I also, I was at the Knicks game when Fat Joe played the halftime show there, which was the recent playoffs, which after he had released like this Knicks anthem. And then there was like a remix with Joey Badass and stuff. But yeah, so
Thank you.
Fat Joe is both a Knicks Liberty fan. Same thing with Spike Lee. He's at all the Knicks Liberty games. I mean, he's famously a Knicks fan, but he's at so many Liberty games too. He actually, one of the recent games I watched, he was wearing a very new looking Brooklyn Dodgers hat. So I thought that was a very cool Spike Lee move.
Nice. What'd you do this week?
Well, I watched Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, which you may have noticed stars Bad Bunny as Happy Gilmore's caddy, and also has cameos from Eminem and Kid Cudi and Post Malone.
So Bad Bunny is just in like every movie now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, because it was funny because like I watched it, and like within like the same like 24 or 48 hour window, found out that he's also doing a role in the new Darren Aronofsky movie that Idols did the soundtrack for. So yeah, Bad Bunny's just like leaning into the acting thing, I guess. He was very funny and happy, I would say, because like, if you're wondering like, is it even good? I think it's fun, like if you can overlook like I understand why some people are like, I'm not watching some 30 years later sequel of like some 90s comedy, but I think it's just if you just like take it as like, this is fun, it is. But Bad Bunny's character was probably the highlight, I would say. So yeah, he's good.
You saw that in the theaters?
No, it's on Netflix.
It's a Netflix exclusive? Is that?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was a straight to Netflix, which like I feel like straight to video used to be a diss, but now straight to Netflix is just like kind of normal.
Yeah. So where's the new? All of a sudden, it's been like Happy Gilmore 2 and a new Naked Gun at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, like last year they put out Good Burger 2, which, speaking of 90s comedies on the silly side, I'm definitely want to see it. um, but yeah, it was Travis Kelce is in it, and as you may have heard, his girlfriend Taylor Swift is a fan of the movie, so probably not related to her boyfriend being in it or anything, but yeah, a lot of big cameos, and also a lot of the original people back, and a lot of flashbacks to the original film, callbacks. So it's fun. Don't take it too seriously. Eminem played the son of the jackass guy, and just like doing like, he's like, because that guy's dead, and now 30 years later, Eminem's like, I'm his son, and he's like doing the same thing. I can imagine that Eminem got a kick out of being that character for a movie I've imagined that he saw when it was new.
All right, you've sold me.
Awesome. So anyway, Lollapalooza is this weekend.
Yes. So Lollapalooza this weekend. Neither of us are going, but it is streaming on Hulu. I don't have Hulu. But we are doing photo coverage, as always, on Brooklyn Vegan. So come check that out. But that also means I was looking through the lineup. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of make my own list of top 10 artists I wish I was seeing if I was at Lolla this weekend. So I thought maybe we could go through that. It does not count headliners, because actually if I want to see a lot of the headliners, so that like filled up the whole list. So it's like Korn is playing Lollapalooza this year. New Metal Giants are somehow amazingly on this lineup. I like that, like they throw some curveballs there, because it's like all these festivals are becoming these pop things, but then sometimes you get a Korn. And
I mean, I went to Boston Calling the year, or one of the years, they might have done it twice, that Tool headlined, and it's like the other 2 days is your typical Boston Calling crowd, and then Tool Day was just like all Tool fans. So I mean, Korn's not as big, but I definitely won't be surprised if like just a bunch of Chicago Korn fans have like one day passes, and it's just going to be like this metal crowd that comes in to like, I don't think it's going to be a bunch of people who are like, what even is this? I feel like the Korn fans are like, they're going that day,
right.
Based on past experiences. I would, if I was going to Lollapalooza, I think Korn would be like top 3 things I'm trying to see. I think that'd be like a really fun environment to see them in.
I definitely agree. I went to Governor's Ball the year they had Tool, but even that feels like a previous era at this point. Like, but I guess it's coming back. Also on that list of headliners, you've got obvious, to us anyway, ones like Tyler, the Creator, and Olivia Rodrigo. I obviously want to see them. I'm not putting them on my list. Doechii and Clairo, who aren't even listed as headliners, but come on, they're headliners. And then A$AP Rocky, Sabrina Carpenter, who, if I'm at the fest, that's going to be fun. I'm going to check it out. Country artist Luke Combs, who's oddly headlining like a million non-country festivals this year, which I'm not mad about that. Bring a little of the country into these fests too, I think. But if I'm there, I'm curious to see him. He's not specifically someone I'm a fan of, but I'm going to go check him out if I'm at Lollapalooza. So all of them aside, let's talk 10 non-headliners who I wish I was seeing at Lolla this weekend, which is a mix of artists I actually listen to and some that I'm just curious, because I put myself in the context of the festival and I'm like, this artist, a lot of people I respect are hyping this artist and they're playing this festival, and I've checked out a few songs. So I'm going to take the opportunity to see what it's all about. So keep that in mind when I go through my 10 artists I want to see at Lolla this year. So let's kick it off. Number 1, this is an easy one, I think, for Andrew and I, and that's Rap Boys. Local to Lollapalooza, Chicago band. I assume Lollapalooza is, making an effort to get some Chicago bands on there every year. So Rap Boys have that advantage. And I personally haven't seen them in forever, even though I love their 2023 album, The Window. But more importantly, in 2025, my interest in them has risen again, partly due to all this indie country talk, which you, Andrew, have very much been leading here. And as people know who have listened to previous episodes of our podcast, Rap Boys play a big role in that whole indie country thing.
Yeah, and they confirmed that they have a new album completed. So good time to get I mean, it's only been 2 years since the last, but good time to like have them on, be excited about them again, because I think we're going to hear new music sooner than later. And yeah, I wish I was seeing them too. It's a bummer that they're on so early in the fest, but you know, I hope that they get a good hometown crowd waking up, or hopefully having some time off work and seeing them.
Number 2, Fuckers, spelled F-C-U-K-E-R-S. This is a New York City dance band who, important note, have live drums, which helps make their live show really fun. And not just, obviously, they're not just hitting play. They feature, little known fact, Shannon from the Shacks on vocals. The Shacks being somewhat random in retrospect band that I was also a fan of. And I just love Fuckers. Super catchy songs that get me dancing every time I see them, which at this point has actually been a bunch. So Fuckers on the bill, I'm always there. Let's skip to number 3, Sierra Farrell. With Luke Combs headlining one day, it makes perfect sense that they also booked West Virginia alt country bluegrass great Sierra Farrell, who has been blowing up, a true star. We love her. I have yet to see her, and if I was at the fest, I'm definitely jumping at the chance.
Yeah, I also haven't seen her yet, but I'm a really big fan of both of her albums, especially the most recent one, which like cleaned up at the Grammys, which was like a nice surprise. Like you said, she's blowing up. I mean, I think she was the first of 3 on like the Post Malone Stadium tour this year too. So definitely, yeah, like getting put in these cool kind of positions for people like in the, to, you know, like I feel like, you know, her music is definitely more alternative than pop country, but like I think that the pop country fan base would and is seem to already like her. So I'm glad she's getting these big looks. But yeah, she's awesome, super cool. I feel like there's nobody quite like her right now. So I'd be really excited to see her.
Number 4, Magdalena Bay. Dancey synth pop band from LA via Miami, whose 2024 album Imaginal Disc topped so many year-end lists. It made an appearance on ours. Their very choreographed live show that I still haven't seen is supposed to be great, and I imagine they might win over some of the masses there for Gracie Abrams, who play an hour later. I don't know if I'm making it to Gracie, but I'm definitely making it to Magdalena Bay.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely seem kind of like one of the few indie acts that like the kind of more like pop crave crowd is cool with. So I do think that, you know, the people who are there for Gracie or Sabrina Carpenter, like I think Magdalena Bay might be getting some spillover there for sure.
Switching gears, number 5, Tsunami. One of the wildest, biggest, and most fun hardcore bands in today's scene is the Fest token hardcore band this year.
It's funny and cool to see that like hardcore scene keeps getting these looks on these major festivals. And like, I don't know, it's like we saw a live stream of Knocked Loose playing to a gigantic crowd at Coachella with Billie Eilish watching side stage. So who knows?
Continuing on, number 6, Odaboke Beaver. If Tsunami wasn't on the bill, I might say this Japanese group was the wildest rock band on the Lala lineup this year. Actually, maybe they are. Always an insanely great time. We watched them go from like a South by Southwest buzz band who we wouldn't be sure if we'd hear about them again in a year, to actually becoming this massive force that now regularly sells out huge venues all over America. So it's like not surprising at all that in 2025, there they are on the Lollapalooza lineup. If you are there, definitely check them out. Always a super fun show, or look for them on tour.
Yeah, super fun punk band. Definitely don't need to know the words if you even could sing along to them. I think they probably sing in Japanese, right? Like, but super, super fun. And also honorable mention on this topic of like band we saw rise from buzz band to like surprisingly big. La Femme is also playing, like FEMME, like with the French band. Like, I mean, they're way bigger than I ever saw coming, and such a party live. So I feel like that is also kind of interesting.
All right, taking it down a notch from the punk bands, at number 7, I've got McGee. Now we're in more Phil Collins territory, but McGee is arguably one of the hottest rock artists in recent years, or are they R&B? But that's McGee, spelled MK.GEE. And I don't know, maybe McGee is actually a headliner too. I said Claro and Doechii feel like actual headliners. McGee's pretty big. He co-wrote a Justin Bieber song this year, but he's also on the new Bon Iver album, which makes total sense, by the way. So for me, I missed McGee's quick rise. I never made it to a club show. I'm at Lollapalooza. I definitely want to finally check him out, see what it's about.
Yeah.
Number 8, kind of also in that category of like, I'm already there. I don't know if I'm making it to the club show, is Jane Remover, which is another super buzzy artist, maybe not as huge as McGee, but the rising Jane Remover is a leader in what is widely described as digicore, and their much talked about 2025 album Revenge Seekers blends like hip hop, dance music, emo, shoegaze, and so much other stuff into this kind of hard to define magical brew, which again usually gets defined as digicore, which is like sort of adjacent to hyperpop. I'm not going to pretend to fully understand how to describe those genres, but it should be a party. And bonus, Turnstile is actually taking Jane Remover out on tour soon.
Yeah, that'll probably be my experience seeing Jane Remover, because there's still no New York date on that tour, but I'm trying to go see the Boston date, I think. So that'll probably be my first Jane Remover show. I like what I've heard. Yeah, Danny Brown's on the new record. Like, it's cool stuff.
Number 9, Tu Hollis. I actually have no idea what Tu Hollis sounds like. I don't even know if he's a meme or a real artist, but I feel like this would be the perfect chance to figure it out. So if I'm at Lala, I am going to see this very viral 21-year-old who, fun fact alert, is the son of John Herndon, the drummer of post-rock legends Tortoise, who are officially Chicago indie rock royalty. So that's actually kind of cool.
And he's also playing Deftones Fest.
Tu Hollis.
Right?
Yes, not Tortoise.
Right. No, not Tortoise, Tu Hollis. Yeah, which I feel like that's like a good enough cosign right there.
There's a cosign right there.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
It's not that different from Jane Remover. I feel like it's still in that like emo rap umbrella.
And number 10. Did I put this on here just to make Andrew really mad? No, I did not. Last but not least, Rebecca Black, who is performing not once but twice at Lollapalooza Sunday. Maybe one of them's a DJ set. It's been amazing to watch the transformation of the girl who sang Friday into an actual pop star and queer icon. Not that this is a great cosign, but Katy Perry currently has her out on tour opening. Or maybe not, I should say not the great cosign in 2025, but regaining her self-esteem after being thrust into the public eye as a child with a widely mocked song is now part of her identity. And she even works a version of that legendary song into her fun and danceable sets. So am I going to miss the chance to see Friday live and check out Rebecca Black's fun set at Lollapalooza? No. An inspiration for us all, I think.
Well
no
said.
Comment.
I mean, I agree. It's very cool to see that, she was able to like move past that song and also just have a sense of humor about it and, become like this whole other thing. Probably wouldn't make my top 10 list, but I mean, if I did give a couple shout outs to a few others, Amare, whose name I might be pronouncing wrong, really cool, really excited for her new album. I'd probably, if I was there, check out Over Mono. There was like so much hype for that record. I like some of those tracks for sure. Julie, that kind of like rising shoegaze noise rock band, would be cool to check out. I still haven't seen them. Young Miko, the Puerto Rican rapper who I did see at Gov Ball, puts on an awesome show. And I would probably, if I was at Lala, have to check out that band Boa, that like 90s band who had that song go viral on TikTok. And like now they're back like and kind of like riding off the momentum of like this random TikTok virality. So like I would definitely want to check that out too. But you totally enjoyed seeing Rebecca Black play Friday.
I would be with you at all those acts you just mentioned as well, for what it's worth.
Cool. So I guess like a 15 acts to check out. But honestly though, like just before we move on, I mean, I know you said no headliners, but Tyler and Doechii at the same festival is like there's a part of me that's like, should I have flown to this? Like, and they might play Balloon together. I mean, I still haven't seen Doechii, and that's like easily one of my like favorite artists of the past year or so. So I mean, you did kind of say like the headliners are kind of the big appeal here, but yeah, just definitely like I thought Lala put together like a sick arrangement of like, I don't know who out there wants to see Sabrina Carpenter and Doechii and Korn, but I want to see all three of those. And so I'm like, this speaks to me. So I'm very happy with this lineup, and I'm bummed to not be there, but I do have Hulu, so maybe I'll be watching.
So what else are we talking about this week?
Well, we got to talk about Hayley Williams, which I feel has been the defining story of this week, for at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, just to recap, last week we were talking about that she released one song.
Didn't even release it. She played it. She had it like debuted on Nashville Public Radio, and there were like rips online instantly, obviously, but she didn't even technically release it. And yeah, we thought at the time there was an image that also went out with like a CDR that said the name of the song, which was Mirtazapine, and then Glum, which was like, I guess everyone assumed would be the B-side to this new single. So yeah, last week we're talking about Hayley, and we're like, oh, she's got this new 2-song single. It's not out yet, but she debuted it on the radio, and like, we got to hear the rip. So like, we'll talk about it. Had no idea though that over the next week, what was about to unfold. Should I take it from here or
yeah, tell us.
So like basically the song comes out, and then she's a surprise guest at Newport Folk Festival with Bleachers, who Jack Antonoff, the like leader of Bleachers, was basically doing kind of like a Newport edition of the Ally Coalition Talent Show, which is the sort of variety show that he does every December in New York. And Hayley was one of the surprise guests, and they did Mirtazapine together, and they also covered Modern English's I Melt With You. And then Monday comes, and all of a sudden I go on Twitter and I just see this tweet that's like, there are 17 new songs on Hayley Williams' website. So I go to the website, and you need a code to access it, which was, you would have received it if you bought like one, I think it's a hair product. She's selling like a new, I think it's a hair dye. And that was the only way in. Sorry, Hayley, but I found someone else's code on Reddit and got my way in. And so there's 17 songs on this website, and it looks like a Windows 98 media player. And it's like each song is its own icon on like an old looking desktop, and you can move them around like you could on a desktop for computer. I mean, you still can do that. And they're just like, there's just 17 songs, no context, like no statement along with like what this is all part of. No track order. Like, it's not even clear if this is considered an album. It's not clear if these songs are new or if they're like outtakes from other albums she's done. Like, we know nothing about them. And I feel like that's pretty rare in this day and age for an artist of her stature to just put 17 songs out that we just don't know anything about. Like, I guess Jack White kind of did that with like his No Name album. But like, like things like that, things like Jack White's album and things like this are becoming like, it's like you have to make the effort to have a little mystique in this day and age with like social media. You know what I mean? Like, there are people on Twitter like basically being like, how could she give us these songs without telling us what they are and where they're from? And I'm like, it's crazy that we've been conditioned to feel that way. Right. In any case, the songs are awesome. I'm listening to them, on her website. You got to click them one by one. You can't fast forward through the track even. It's like, that's how old school the like mock media player is. And then 2 days later, they're not on her website anymore. And then we are recording this on Thursday. So I heard that they're all coming out on streaming at midnight. So it's presumably by the time this episode is up, the songs will also be on streaming. There's totally a chance that that's not true. So if it's not, don't blame me. I'm just, it's a rumor, I get unconfirmed, but it seems to be what people are saying. So I think, but what, if true, it seems that they're all going to be released as 17 different standalone singles. And that's like so interesting, I think. It's like, instead, like, and it fits the songs because they're all kind of so different. Like, it doesn't really feel like her first solo album, Petals for Armor, had this clear vibe to it. And these just like Mirtazapine is like this 90s shoegazy alt rock song. And there's like this song I really like called Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, and it's more of like almost a trip hoppy song. There's kind of some folky songs on there. There's like this one called Ice in My OJ that gets like noisy and she screams on it. There's one song where she interpolates the chorus of the Bloodhound Gang's The Bad Touch. It's called Discovery Channel. So it's just like, it feels like this kind of like odds and ends and like of songs. And so I think it's cool that it's being released in this way where there's no clear like really anything. It's just kind of like, here are some songs. So that's the the story, basically, of these new Hayley Williams tracks.
I hope the streaming thing is true, because I was too lazy to figure out how to get the tracks yet. I didn't ask you for them, and I would like to hit play on it.
Well, I don't condone pirating, but maybe you can find a way to hear them. It's also just been like all Hayley all the time, you know? Like, I mean, we have talked a bit in the past about how like she's on the Turnstile album and the upcoming David Byrne album and Jay Som's album, and she played live this year with Turnstile, with Deftones, with Failures, Ken Andrews, with a Parcel Rilo Kiley reunion before their official tour started. And also, like, I think it was in the past week since we last talked that Paramore celebrated the 20th anniversary of their debut record, All We Know Is Falling. They put a deluxe edition on streaming services, which finally puts their 2006 EP, The Summer Tick, on streaming, including their Failure cover. Paramore drummer Zach Farrow just released his new solo record, Operator, a couple weeks ago. Like, it's been a lot of Paramore. So good, very, very good year to be a Paramore fan and a Hayley fan.
And so you've actually listened to all 17 songs a few times. So you've kind of got a good take on this. In fact, you've got a review and notable releases out today. Mm-hmm. Do you have like a 5 top songs for people who maybe just want to taste?
Yeah, I definitely recommend hearing all 17. But, you know, if you're looking for an easy way in, I guess my top 5 would be Gotta Say Mirtazapine. I mean, I think it was the first single for a reason, or first single. It's the song she played on the radio for a reason. Like, it's the best one, I think. It's just like shoegazy, alt rock. I would put it in some Venn diagram between like Garbage, Smashing Pumpkins, Breeders, Veruca Salt, like that kind of stuff. All of which I would imagine influenced Paramore in the first place. Especially, again, this is a band who covered Failure when they were like only around for a year. So they were definitely into the, you know, deep into 90s alt rock, obviously, if you're covering Failure. But Hayley's never really done like full on 90s like this. And it's just, you know, especially now where it feels like 90s rock is like back more than ever. It's very cool to hear her do it. She's amazing at it. No surprise. Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party that's my second favorite track on this collection. It's kind of trip hoppy. It has some of the best lyrics on there. Such a cool vibe. Kill Me, which is like, it's kind of this groove fueled indie rock song. And it has like some of just her best kind of like poetic lyrics. Like there's the one, I think it's the first line of the song. That's like, so it's like eldest daughters never miss their chances to learn the hardest lessons again and again, carrying my mother's torment. I think I'm where the bloodline ends. And it just feels very like, you know, it feels like it could be poetry, but totally works in the context of a song. And the groove is sick. I would say True Believer, which is also kind of like this brooding slow burner kind of song. And it feels like it's both an ode and a critique to Nashville and the South. Hayley is from the Nashville area. And then for a fifth, I'm between Ice in My OJ, because hearing Hayley scream over this like maximalist noisy part is so cool. And Love Me Different, which is kind of like this sort of fake reggae song, which definitely fits with some of the kind of After Laughter stuff, like the Paramore album After Laughter. I think if like you like that kind of side of Hayley, then Love Me Different is right in there. So that's my 6 top 5 songs.
All right, nice. I look forward to hearing those 5 and all 17, honestly. It's kind of I should have more time for it, because actually it's kind of a light release week. What else is out this week?
It is a light release week. Another big one is the Armed, who are like, it's the last Armed record was like, they kind of were, they were going away from like hardcore and heavy music, and it was like much more of like an alternative rock kind of a melodic record. And this one swings the pendulum back like all the way in the other direction. It's like one of the heaviest albums they've ever released, even heavier than a lot of their earlier stuff. And actually Megan O'Neill from Punch does like a lot of the screaming on it, and she's like one of the best hardcore vocalists around. And it's like her most significant presence on an album since her band Super Unison's last album in 2018. So really cool to like not only hear the Arm getting heavy again, but hear Megan O'Neill doing like basically like co-lead vocals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw her perform with them when they last played New York City too.
Yeah, I don't think she was there when I saw them, but that's cool that you got to. I'm jealous that you got to see that.
She was actually, that show was the Armed with King Woman. I think she was a member. She was playing as a member of King Woman's band and came out with the Armed.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Did she do like multiple songs with the Armed, or just one? Or
I'm forgetting the specifics, but yeah.
So another one out this week is the first album by Wisp, who I think, like, it's so interesting to see that shoegaze is now actually like more popular than it was in the 80s and 90s, and also just one of the most popular styles of rock music that exists. And I feel like it is poised for mainstream, like genuine mainstream crossover. And Wisp is like the artist who is basically probably most likely to do that, or is already doing that. She signed to Interscope after just having one song basically go viral on TikTok and rack up millions of views, of plays on Spotify. Like, as we speak now, it has more plays than any My Bloody Valentine song on Spotify, than any Ride song, and all but one of Slow Dive songs. So yeah, she's like this major label shoegaze artist, and I think she's like barely out of her teens, and this is her first album, and it definitely sounds a little more major label-y than the breakthrough first single. It does have some co-writers and co-producers on there who work with people like Kesha and stuff like that. So it does feel like there was maybe a little push to make it a little bit more marketable. But I think that's cool that there is like this shoegaze, like it's straight up shoegaze. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some like genre purist old heads, whatever, who are like, this is like, sellout shoegaze or whatever. But like, it's full on shoegaze, and it has this kind of a little bit more pop appeal. Like, there's definitely like, it feels like current, it feels Gen Z. So it's really interesting to hear that. And
does it feel new metal?
Yes, there's definitely a little bit of like you could tell that she's like clearly into like the shoegazy Deftone songs, because it's like there's like a little bit of a new metal undercurrent for sure.
And full circle to multiple things we talked about on this episode, Wisp is actually opened or will be opening for Korn, Deftones, and also even System of a Down.
Yeah, System's headlining those shows that also have Korn and Deftones. They're doing like 6 stadium shows, some with Korn, some with Deftones, and some with Avenged Sevenfold, and then Whisper on all of them. But yes, like that makes sense too, that she's on these new metal shows. Although really curious to see like this rising shoegaze band at MetLife Stadium, which hopefully I will, because I'm trying to go to that System show.
I have to miss them.
But yeah, I mean, Wisp have also, like, just one more thing I'd say, I guess, is like, I think Wisp is going to be a lot of people's gateway band for shoegaze. And like, if it is your gateway band for shoegaze, it's going to be so easy to figure out like all the OGs and classics and stuff. Cause like she literally like recently toured with Slow Dive, recently toured with Panchico. She shouts out the classics in all of her interviews. Like, it's not going to be hard to get from Wisp to Slow Dive or something. So that's cool too. And speaking of Slow Dive, one of the other records out this week that Bill reviews over in Indie Basement is the new record from UK band Everything Else, which was produced by Neil Halstead of Slow Dive. So it's a good week for shoegaze and things that you can, 6 degrees of separation from Slow Dive. Bill also reviews the new record by Debbie Friday, another artist that had some South by buzz that we liked at that point, and it continues to rise, and very cool kind of rap and also more than rap. And then the Warlocks, not to be confused with the Grateful Dead's original name. They are a different band, and they have a new album out that Bill reviews.
Cool. And what about new songs this week?
Outside of Hayley, like the song I'm most excited about this week is that Fleshwater have announced their second record. It's called 2000 In Search of the Endless Sky. Speaking of like, I mean, how new metal does that sound? Like, just like Y2K era, literally 2000 in the name. Like, they know what they're doing. And their first single, Jetpack, is out. And I mean, Fleshwater, like, I saw them open the Deftones tour this year. Perfect pairing. They're obviously a very Deftones inspired band, but also have like this hardcore side. Members also play in the hardcore metalcore band Vein. And although Fleshwater are kind of becoming more of the main act these days. But yeah, it's Jetpack is everything good about Fleshwater in a nutshell. Like a little metalcore, a little post-hardcore, a little shoegaze, a little grunge. The two singers do like more of a dual vocal thing on it too. Like I feel like sometimes on the first record, it was kind of like, this is like Anthony's song. This is Marissa's song. This one feels very, very collaborative. So yeah, I'm really stoked to hear it. Fleshwater's just like become one of my favorite current bands. So I'm very, very excited that they're doing another album and that they're, it sounds great so far.
I can't wait to hear that one.
Yeah. Couple other songs that we can shout out. Antlers announced their new album, Blight. First single, Carnage, is out. Sounds like classic Antlers, very slow, very delicate. Snooper announced their new record, Worldwide. It was produced by John Congleton, which he's always one of the best. And this is their first time working with an outside producer. Title track is out. It's, fun garage punk. Dying Wish announced their new record. Again, if we're keeping with this like early aughts new metal kind of revival thing, Dying Wish are a metalcore band, but this new single, I Brought You My Soul, it doesn't not sound like Evanescence, I guess. And then here's a fun one. I usually hate white guy acoustic guitar covers of rap songs. I think they generally should not happen. But Iron and Wine and Ben Bridwell from Band of Horses have covered Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther, and I think it's very cool. I really recommend listening to it. I think if it sounds on paper, it might surprise you. What else happened this week, Dave?
Nick Cave made the internet crazy this week by saying that his view of AI as an artist device has, quote, softened after filmmaker Andrew Dominic, who is a friend of his, used AI to bring archival images of Elvis to life for a 40th anniversary video for Nick's 1985 Bad Seed song Tupelo, which Nick decided was worth releasing. My Chemical Romance continue their big Black Parade tour, and at the LA show at Dodger Stadium, they debuted a previously unreleased song that was apparently recorded in 2012 for an album that never came out. Erykah Badu has an Alchemist-produced album coming that we're excited about, and some August tour dates with Alk too. But meanwhile, she just announced a tour happening later this year, which is in celebration of Mama's Gun, which is turning 25. Legendary New York City music venue Brownies closed many years ago. We miss it. And since then, the space has taken on many new identities, which have in turn then also closed. This week, it returned as a country bar co-owned and named after Lucinda Williams, who played the private opening night show on Wednesday, which, side note, I am very bummed to have missed, but can't wait to visit Lucinda's. As we touched on earlier when we were talking about Bad Bunny's acting career, he stars in Darren Aronofsky's new comic crime thriller Caught Stealing, which Idols helped score and recorded 4 new songs for. It's set in New York City, and speaking of the East Village, the movie actually recreated many other iconic 90s locations that are now gone, like Kim's Video. Not to mention, there's a new Rancid-inspired drama called And Out Comes the Wolf that features an appearance by Scal in its newly released trailer. The late Rick Froberg of Drive Like Jehu, Hot Snakes, etc.'s visual art has been collected for a new book called Plenty for All, The Art of Rick Froberg, which is due in January. And the drummer saga continues. Foo Fighters and Nine Inch Nails have traded drummers, with Ilan Rubin going to the Foos and Josh Freese rejoining Nine Inch Nails. Stay tuned each week to find out which bands lose their drummer next. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Dave and I will be back every Friday morning with new episodes of BV Weekly. And in between the episodes, you can always get much more from us at BrooklynVegan.com, on all of our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can pick up records from us at shop.brooklynvegan.com. And if you like what you hear, tell your friends about us, subscribe to the show, give us a good rating. All that little stuff goes a really long way. It really helps us a lot, and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much to Joe D'Agostino from Cymbals E Guitars and Empty Country for the great theme song. Our mix engineer, Nick Gray. Thank you again, and see you next time.